Hey guys, welcome to the M&M Show. My name is Michael, and this is
Michele,
and it is
Valentine's Day week. And Valentine's Day is very special to us, isn't it, babe?
It is. She became my girlfriend on Valentine's,
Yes, 2001, Michael asked me to be his girlfriend.
and she became my engaged wife on Valentine's.
Yes, he gave me the ring on Valentine's Day. And then in 3 weeks, we got married.
How do you get married in 3 weeks? Well, goals are achieved by people, but miracles are achieved by God.
Wow, come on.
You can do a lot of stuff, but there's stuff you can't do. And that's why we really believe deeply in God, because our relationship is a miracle. Now, if you're someone who doesn't believe in God and you don't believe in miracles, just give me a call. I wake up to a miracle every day. Her name is Michele Williamson. And it really is truly a miracle how we got together. The story is nuts, but it is deeply a story of trusting God. As soon as I saw Michele, the first time Michele came to church, I looked up and there was an audible voice I felt like saying, "That's the one." And of course, not long after that, I asked her to be my girlfriend. Now I did it clever. I had extra people there. We had like a quadruple date, and all the couples were dating. And everyone had this poem they were going to say for their girlfriend, and they had flowers. We went to a very classy Italian restaurant at the time, Pazzo Ristorante, downtown Portland, Oregon. And we were all dressed up, and we got a private room. And I did this cool, funny kind of date where it was a scavenger hunt, where Michele and we arrived at our place for the date, and then all of our all the brothers were there, and all the sisters were there. And then when we arrived, the brothers went into the kitchen, and then we left. And the sisters, where are they? When they came into the kitchen, they found flowers and balloons with their next tip. And they said, "You have been tricked. You must go downtown." And then they went downtown. And while they were going downtown, they went to another restaurant that I had called and told them, "Hey, the next clue is there." So then they go there and they get a clue. Now, mind you, we're sitting in the restaurant watching me and the brothers. We're watching the sisters go, and then they go to the next restaurant and they have to get balloons to get their next clue. And they go to the next place and they have to get they get a flower and they get the next tip. And then they finally made their way back to the restaurant. When they came to the restaurant, we said, "Surprise!" We gave them big hugs and all. And then I sat Michele down with everyone, and everyone else gave a poem, and I did a lesson. I said, "Okay, it's my time to do a lesson." And Michelle's sitting there going, "Oh no, this guy, him and his tricks." And I go, "Point number 1, you are so beautiful. Point number 2, you are so awesome. Point number 3, you're the most incredible." Something I forget the third point. And I said, "I want to challenge you." I said, "Michele, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to be my girlfriend." And then what did you say?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Then we started
So
dating.
that was Valentine's Day, 2001,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I think prior to meeting you and getting baptized, I actually got baptized in March. No, that was 2002, because I got baptized in March 2001.
Yeah, that's right.
So we were friends for a good 11 months.
Yeah.
And then we started dating. And then a year later, we got engaged on the
right.
same day, Valentine's Day. So
Yep.
it's Valentine's Day is a very, very special,
Yeah.
special time. But then after getting engaged,
She sang me a song. Michele sang me a song. She took me out. Listen, it was awesome. We had this huge restaurant. At the time, we were overseeing the singles, and it was so inspirational that the marrieds decided they wanted to come to the singles party. I mean, you got to be doing something halfway decent. And I remember at the time we had a young married couple that were very sharp. He was a high-ranking executive at Nike, so was she. And they said, "No, we hear the singles are doing that party at the Windows restaurant that overlooks the city, and they have it, valet parking. They got tickets they're selling. They got some jazz person who's coming." It was the seeds of the AMS ministry, amen. And I remember Nick and Denise Bordieri wound up coming and being a part of us. And I remember that night I asked you to be my wife, and then you took me on the back. She took me on the balcony, and she sang me a song.
Yeah, I get practiced with some children. I was Kids Kingdom kids. They taught me a country western song.
She took me
I
in the
actually don't
back.
even know what song.
I
I can't.
can't
Don't
remember
trust me.
either,
I'm
but
not
it was
singing
kind
that
of
ever
fresh.
again.
It was fresh that night. It was fresh, and she sang me a song, and then I took her downtown Portland. I left the party. Michelle was like, "Where are we going? Did you get advice about this?" And I got a cab, and we literally left the Valentine's party. We went downtown, and I asked Michelle. I got her out to the water, and Michelle was like, "Where are we? What is this all about?" And then that's when I asked her to be my wife. And
That was great. That was 2002,
yeah,
3,
that's right.
2003.
That's right. And then we came back to the party, and they go, and I want to announce Michael and Michelle are getting married. And then I was on cloud 598. I was fired up. You could have cut my foot off like Kunta Kinte. I mean, I would have still been happy. I was just like, I am getting married. I was so, I don't know what it is. I was so incredibly happy to get married. And then I got your dinner attorney call me on Monday. Hello, Mr. Williamson. Are you getting married to Michelle Williamson? I'd just like to let you know she is Australian. She has a passport and she could be sent back to Australia. You better be married to her within the next couple of weeks or she will be deported. If you have any questions, give me a call. Thank you. And that's exactly how he talks, super fast. And that was that guy, Jeffrey. You remember that?
Gonzalez.
Yes. Yes, craziness. And so he helped us. And, I remember at the time we got advice. And what'd they say?
Let's see. So we were engaged February 14th,
Yep.
and the issue why the attorney called Michael was because I was going to university in America, and I was on a student visa. And as students, you get about a year to be an intern. So I was an intern for a publishing company. I was in advertising and marketing, and my boss really loved me, and she was fine. She said, "Listen, just stay. We'll keep paying you. We don't want to lose you. You have a job for life here, and you're going to get married soon, so don't worry about it." And however, at that time, 9/11 had just
It was
happened
9/11. That's right.
in September, and
Craziness.
the U.S. actually that was the year the U.S. changed from immigration
yes.
to Homeland Security.
Exactly.
So it became more of an enforcement agency. And so the pressure was on for me to basically the laws were going to change at the end of February.
And to tell you why it was a miracle is I knew none of this.
Neither did I.
And neither did she.
I knew I had overstayed my visa by a year, and the leadership in the church knew, but I didn't want to let Michael know because I didn't want it to be a visa marriage. I wanted God to be in control. So
Yeah.
prior to 9/11, it wouldn't have been a problem to have overstayed a visa and just get a renewed visa once you get engaged or married. But Mr. Gonzalez told us that we should get married before February, the end of February, because once March hit,
Yeah, we
there
got
would be
married.
a whole new
We got married in
clause.
11 days.
Yeah, so therefore we
Technically.
got married in 11 or 12 days by law, and then we actually got married at a midweek.
6 days later.
6 days later.
And I was not planning on getting married in 11 days. You got to understand. This is
Neither was I.
Yes. And you're talking a 90s black man. I had it all mapped out in my head. I was like, I'm going to be Brian McKnight. I'm going to be in white linen. I'm going to be on the beach and I'm going to be standing there. She's going to come on a white horse and her hair's going to be in the back. And then I'm going to take her down and then the band's going to come down on the sand and sing the song. And I'm going to ask her to be. I had it all mapped out.
Yeah.
We got married at midweek. Wednesday night.
Yes.
Wednesday night, God was like, quit idolizing marriage in that way.
Yeah.
I want you to get married quickly and just go for it. And it was the most.
We pulled it off. We pulled it off, sisters. So if you're engaged and you're worried about your wedding, I tell every sister, don't worry about it. Honestly, if we can figure out getting married in less than 2 weeks, you can too. So we went through all the marriage counseling.
All the marriage counseling.
I think my boss bought me a $100 off the rack Jessica McClintock, I don't even know if she's still around, dress.
I had a tux from a business meeting I'd already gone to.
And our bridesmaids just wore, I said, if you got a black dress, wear it. And then we did red roses that someone donated. The church service was donated by the church. Thank you, Kingdom. It was an absolute Kingdom wedding. I borrowed the tiara, the shoes, and the veil from a sister who was my discipler that got married 6 months before, Carlene. And
it was incredible.
It was amazing.
We had our shower at a household. We had a
You mean not shower?
Not a shower, but our
reception.
A reception at the DeHaans, Linda DeHaan. I'll never forget Linda DeHaan. She was like a mom in the faith to me. Linda DeHaan opened up. She had a beautiful house though. We had the reception there. And we walked in and we were married. We were like, I mean, the car ride out to her place was pretty awesome.
One of the brothers, I think your best man drove us.
Yeah,
right?
he drove us on out there, and
we did the marriage counseling. So we did, I think, 8 sessions. 9 sessions almost daily. And we were working full-time jobs. And get this, you had to go back to work the next day.
Made me
I got married on Wednesday night. My husband goes to work the next day.
I was at work the next day and I was fired up. You couldn't have done anything. I was married. I mean, like I told you, they could have cut both my feet off. I was like, I am married in the kingdom of Jesus Christ is in my life. I am married. I went to work the next day.
Sleepless.
Man, and remember we met after we had our marriage. I mean, the wedding night. First of all, how about wedding night? The marriage night. When we left the reception, it was like I remember driving to. We had this really classy hotel downtown. The disciples had picked out this high-end hotel we would have never been able to afford. They gave us a vaulted ceiling room. They all paid for by disciples. We walked in. There was this huge basket full of food, snacks, cards. I can't even, and then to top it off, the couple that had the biggest hand in setting up that thing downtown was from London.
Oh,
and this is before we even knew Kip and Elena. We didn't even know Kip and Elena. Mm-hmm. We had no idea that this was God setting us up for we just trusted God. We just trusted God. And I think we didn't figure it all out. We just let God do it.
Yeah, and I think what we're both trying to communicate to the audience is just we were so just focused on God. Like we were both leading the singles ministry. We were both full-time
employees working.
At sharp jobs. I was a manager and you were as well. And we just were kingdom builders. And I think, when God, and then we also, prior to being engaged, we both had prayed very specific prayers. Goodness. I prayed 3 specific prayers. I prayed 3 things that I felt God I'm pleading with you, Lord. I have a weak faith. I need 3 signs. So I prayed to be personally fruitful, and I prayed that Michael would be personally fruitful in a church that was very unfruitful.
At that time.
So that was kind of like a miracle. Only God could have made us both and personally fruitful. And I prayed for 3 things. One of them was that you would be personally fruitful. I would be personally fruitful.
Yeah.
The second thing was between me and God. And then the third thing, I can't remember exactly now. It can't come to mind. The necklace. Yes, I prayed that God put on my heart something to do with a heart. So I prayed, God, if Michael gives me something with a heart, I'll know this is you. And then literally you gave me a necklace with a heart on it. And I remember going back to my apartment and just getting on my knees and just going, God, you answered my prayer. Like you see me. You are a God of the universe. You have so much going on, yet you can answer my little prayer. You know what I mean? And things like that, you just build your faith. They just build your faith. And these are little things that you have with God that you're just like, you treasure. You treasure those things in your heart. And I'm just like, wow, God, you really care about your people.
That's amazing, babe. Yeah. And how I got to deep convictions with Michele that God sent her into my life is, I got so, after the dating relationship ended and then Michele became a disciple, I said to God, most people just kind of, hey, God, they know that's God. I got mad. I go, God, I am getting married. I want to get married. I want to do great things for God. You got to find my wife in Jesus' name. Amen. And I fasted on the way to a conference. And as we got to the conference, I had fasted and I had talked to a sister that had been in our church in Portland, who was now like a top ministry person in our mother church at the time, San Francisco. And she goes, bro, don't you worry. I've got you set up on 9 dates and they're all ministry people, So I was like, yeah. Because I saw Michele, I thought my role with Michele was just to protect her, just to look after her, to make sure she stayed strong. And this is before we were, she's my girlfriend. And so I begged God to make it clear. And I said, God, I'm going to fast. And if Michele, I mean, before she was my girlfriend, just before she was my wife. If Michelle's the one, no, actually, yeah, it was before you were my girlfriend. That's right. I said, if Michelle's the one, make it clear. So we get to San Francisco, and the first date that I was supposed to have with that sister, the leaders call us and they go, hey, we were going to have that date with you, and they canceled it. The second date gets canceled. The third date gets canceled. Mind you, every time I'm going on these dates, the only person that's there at the dates for me to hang out with is Michele. So the first date was at a fancy restaurant. So me and Michele wound up having dinner at a fancy restaurant together. Second date was at another fancy restaurant, but it was lunch. Me and Michele had fancy lunch together. The next day, I remember I had a salad. Third date was at the conference, and that date didn't go through, but Michele was going to be a double on it, so I wound up being with Michele. Every single one of the dates, all 9 were canceled. It was the last day of the conference. I'm going, God, you have not answered my prayer. I want to know who I'm going to marry. You haven't done it. And the sister was like this amazing singer. She's on stage. She's singing a song. You know how our conferences are. The last song, yay. And then she comes, and this is like back in the day, like 5,000-6,000 people. She comes off the stage, and I get ready to get introduced to this sister that I'm going to take on a date. And she goes, I go, oh my goodness, what is that? She goes into the bathroom and I hear everything. Let's just put it that way. And she comes out of the bathroom after about 10 minutes. She said, bro, I can deny myself and we can still go on the date. I go, no, it's it's okay. Well, it's the last day of the conference. I made this fast and prayer. I'm sitting here going, God, you haven't answered. And then I had a brother who came up to me, not a brother, a sister came up to me and said, hey, Michael, I would love for you to go on a date with me and another brother. And so who's the brother going on a date with? He's going on a date with this awesome sister. Her name is Michele. I go, is she from Portland? Because you got to understand, this conference has 4,000 or 5,000 people there. So how in the world, out of all those people, is Michele going to be his double date? So the last date I went on was with Michele, and she wasn't my date, but she was the double. And I was with a sister that I didn't like. And then Michele discipled me. She goes, bro, can I speak with you? I feel like you're not really very loving to this. And I wasn't, too, because I was just so discouraged because I didn't like her. I was like, That was the last day of the conference. We're on our way back to Portland. God hasn't answered. I've gone on no dates. The only person I've gone on a date with, all 9 dates were with Michele. And I'm sitting there in the front of it. Was a school bus. We remember that bus we rode back?
Just a coach. Yeah.
A coach. It was like a coach. And we rode it back from San Francisco to Portland. I'm sitting in the front. You know how our conferences are. People are fired up. They're excited. Woo! They're singing in the bus. I'm sitting in the front as the singles leader in complete depression. Oh, Lord, you don't care about me. I'm literally kind of like, depressed, like, oh man, God hasn't answered me. And I'm sitting there and I literally say this out loud. I go, God, I fasted, I prayed. I wanted you to show me my wife. You know exactly how much I care about Michele, but she's like my sister. She's my friend. I mean, we work well together. She's my co-leader. And so I went on a date with her the first day. The second day I went on a date with her. The third day, I didn't go on a date with any of the women that I thought could be my wife but Michele. And then it hit me. And soon as I said that, Michele was having a ball, freed up. She was in the back of the bus, like singing with the sisters. And as soon she's not watching me have this prayer. I look over the seat. And soon as I look over the seat, Michele goes, she's like a Miss America. She goes, hi. She was all the way in the back of the bus. And I sat down and I go,
oh gosh, Michael.
Michele is my wife.
God.
Michelle's my wife. Michelle's my wife. She's the one. And I got back. She goes, hey, bro, can't wait for Singles Devo. I go, see you at Singles Devo. She's like, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay.
Like you saw a ghost.
God made it crystal clear. I can't believe this story. Even as I tell it, I'm like, I can't believe all 9 dates were canceled.
Yeah, but I didn't go on all 9. You had planned 9 dates.
Yeah, I planned 9
with
dates.
sharp sisters that were outside of Portland,
Yes.
thinking that you're going to marry
Yes.
Miss Black America or something.
Yes.
I just want to share with you, babe, Proverbs
Yes.
16:9.
Yes.
Can I share scripture?
Please go for it.
The heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps.
He established my steps.
Mic drop. Yeah, so sisters, listen, when God has a plan, no man can stand in your way. And you can be at the back of the bus. You don't need to be manipulating, trying to figure out. He's trying to manipulate these 9 dates, trying to figure out the best sister in the whole kingdom.
Look at that thing.
All 9 were probably the best.
God has got a sense of humor. I came into the kingdom. Yeah, I'm a black man. I'm supposed to have a black woman. My grandfather, black, everything's black. Black boy, come here, back. Look at this black day. It's a black. We go to shopping. He'd be like, look at this can. The green olives are in a jar. The black olives are in a can. It's racial. I mean, my family was so much about that. They weren't about the heart. And I brought that into the kingdom. And I realized that when I was going on dates with all nations, that it really wasn't about that. And it was amazing. I actually fell in love with my friendship with Michele.
Right.
I fell in love with how we led together. I fell in love with her mind. I fell in love with all these things that I didn't know were the qualifications for marriage. And I had no idea that my wife was there the entire time. And it's really exciting now. I try to help people. What are you looking for? So our story really is a miracle. It's from God. God answered.
God put us together.
God brought us together.
And what's really beautiful about it is that, we got married in those 3 short weeks.
Yeah.
And literally on the way, guys, you all know about the fall of the kingdom, right? 2003, there was a letter that went out that brought the demise, that broke down the kingdom.
Yep.
Well, that letter, fortuitously, God allowed that letter to come get decimated on the weekend that we were on our honeymoon. We got a 3-day honeymoon at donated to us by a single brother whose parents owned a beach house, because we didn't have a ton of money prepared to get married in 3 weeks. So he offered us, and then we went on that 3-day.
It was glorious.
Awesome honeymoon. And we got back, and then we found our church was a completely different church. People were distrustful. A lot of people had left. And I really believe God allowed us to get married, because I wouldn't be here if I wasn't married to Michael, because of his deep convictions. So sometimes, sisters and brothers, I think you just gotta go with the flow. If God slows things down, trust it. If God speeds things up, trust it. Because God has a plan, and we can't see it. And that scripture's not just for Michael, that was for me as well. We can have all the plans in the world. We wanted a summer wedding. We did not want a wedding at a midweek service. I did not want my bridesmaids to just wear black. But lo and behold, it doesn't matter. We are married now, and protected by God's hand.
Yeah, and God put it together.
Totally.
The Israelites thought everything was going to be super glorious. No, it started off as a tabernacle. It became a temple.
Totally.
Right? A lot of disciples nowadays, you want to start off at the temple, gold and encrusted. No, you may need to go tabernacle to get to the temple. And what's so special about what we have is we have convictions that we are put together by God, not people.
Exactly.
And because God answered our prayers, God did things. It's not just, you don't want to treat God like a genie. Like, hey, I prayed, and but there were so many spiritual things that happened. Yeah. That made it clear. Yeah. All the leaders felt so. Yeah. Everyone encouraged us.
So we got advice.
Yes.
We got, everyone agreed to it. We were humble if the advice was, you know what, Michele, go back to Australia, reapply for a visa.
Surrendered.
I would have completely done that. But the advice was, listen, you're both mature. You dated completely purely. You've both been fruitful. You've both led and worked hard building up the church. So it was blessed. It was blessed by God, blessed by people. Yeah. So, yep.
That's how you get married in 3 weeks. It takes a miracle. We didn't do it. God did it.
Love God. And God. The quote of the day. So, guys, to close out, I would definitely say, as someone once said, dance with God, sisters and brothers. He'll let the right person cut in. Happy Valentine's week.